Good morning, natural gas. It's Tuesday, August the 11th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot September natural gas contract, we're unchanged basically, down just like 2 ticks here at 279.20. And things are starting to go sideways here. We are above the 13-period exponential moving average. We're looking to see if this market can gain enough momentum to reach the 48-period exponential moving average, which comes in at 293.30. The RSI is going sideways right now. Storage expectations for Thursday center around plus 36 BCF. Last year, that is higher, but the 5-year average is only plus 33. Last year was plus 49. So it means that we're going to get a bullish relative to last year, relatively bearish, slightly bearish, if you want to call it that, to the 5-year average. That's been the pattern. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. And as you can see, we're above the daily pivot today, which comes in at 276.70 here. We are testing above first resistance at 283.3. We got as high as 281.90. The RSI, though, is turning lower at the moment. So looks like we're going to just probably hang around the daily pivot for today, maybe even testing for support at 272.90. But looks like we're going sideways until we get the storage report on Thursday, or we get some more bullish news. But we've got some bullish news on the weather. Here's the 6 to 10-day outlook, and as you can see, bingo, it's a bullseye right here. Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana area, above normal temperatures. Everything radiating out around that, as you can see, below normal temperatures in New England and all the way over in California. Let's take a look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, and there it is. There's some even warmer temperatures coming from much of the rest of the country, with the exception of New England. Let's take a look at the grid, and here is ERCOT today expanding to just under 87,000 megawatts for system-wide demand. Renewables, though, are very strong, just under 47,000. As you can see right now, natural gas is holding on to about 29% of the fuel mix here, but it is quite low at over 18,774 megawatts. So that's quite low for natural gas at the moment. Let's take a look at the grid for the rest of the country here. As you can see, a little bit of volatility here in PJM is expected to be just at about $95 today as a peak. SPP, about 141. MISO here, about 120. And we've already started seeing some volatility. NYISO was already spiked here this morning to $130. So we are seeing some volatility across the grid, especially in NYISO, that's New York, over here in Ontario. So as you can see right there, although prices are going to be about $124 at the peak, that's the expected peak. We'll see, because ERCOT here with a lot of wind and solar, as you can see, is only expected to get to about $43. Let's turn to the extreme heat risk, and here it is. We are starting to see even warmer temperatures coming through, especially as we get into the southeast here. Here's the forecast. We are looking at over about 6 million people in extreme heat risk here. This expands to over 10 million here on Thursday. Friday gets even worse. Saturday here, 16 million, 18 million at Sunday here. Monday eases up a little bit, but as you can see here, we've got over 120 million people at some form of heat risk here going into the southeast, basically Texas all the way over to North Carolina, all the way up into Missouri and Kentucky. And let's take a look at that weather forecast model just past the 18th here. As you can see, this is the European model here. And this is still pushing triple digits from Texas all the way back up toward the East Coast, especially for the Carolinas here into Florida, and then possibly getting all the way up into like St. Louis. So some warmer temperatures still pushing through here late in the forecast here. There are temperatures, triple digits, going all the way back up into Missouri here. And as you can see, 95s up in the Carolinas. So warm temperatures going into this weekend. And speaking of warm temperatures, let's turn to France. And as you can see, here's Europe, and France is going to bake again tomorrow. That's going to be very, very warm there again into Thursday and into Friday, especially. Then things start to push over into Germany here on Saturday, easing up a little bit in France. And that cooler weather starts to push through next week. That's good news for basically Western Europe here. But let's see what happens here on prices. We'll show that in just a second. Storage here, again, the problems. Belgium, 41%. The Netherlands, 40%. Here's our problem. United Kingdom, 27%. And let's take a look at the national balancing point. This as of yesterday here, and it was up 10%. That's right, 10%. That's big D there is for delayed quotations. The RSI is turning up. So the panic button is starting to be hit here in the UK. Let's turn to Asia. Typhoon Dolphin has come ashore, and that's bringing cooler temperatures into the eastern provinces of China, also cooling the Koreas and Japan. And this continues all the way through into next week, but we start seeing some warmer temperatures coming back in. The typical pattern here starting next week is that warmer temperature from Shanghai all the way back up into Beijing. So warmer temperatures are set to arrive after Hurricane Dolphin dissipates. Let's turn to the LNG. We've got one LNG tanker loading up at Ras Laffan over in Qatar. As you can see, the Al Sadd. And right now, let's take a look at the US. Cameron, steady as she goes, 1.49. That's beautiful for the hot and humid weather we've got right now. Freeport also stable here, over 1.2. That's good news as well. How about Creole Trail? This feeds Sabine Pass, one of the pipelines. Got a little bit of open capacity here. And again, toward the end of the month here, around the third week of August here, we have some maintenance work at the compressor station. The one here will be Gillis. Over for Corpus Christi, it will be the Sinton compressor station. Just a little bit of reduction here in the pipeline capacity. So let's take a look at Corpus Christi, and it's doing very, very well, almost 2.6 out of 2.75 BCF capacity. There's a little bit of open capacity still over at Calcasieu Pass, but it is running fairly well here. And here is Plaquemines. It does have a little bit of capacity open here. It's starting to ease up a little bit. And here is Golden Pass, over 500,000. That's beautiful news here for Train 1. Again, total capacity there, 800 to 850,000 MMBTUs, depending on weather. And as you can see right now, those 2.6 total capacity is for all three trains. Train 2 should be coming online toward the end of the year if they can get it mechanically complete. Let's take a look at the water temperatures in the Gulf. And as you can see here, by 85 to 86 degrees for much of the Gulf of America / Mexico. South of Cuba, same thing, 86 degrees. Why is this important? Because we've got the Atlantic starting to fire up. That's right. This has got a 70% chance of development here. That's good news for the Atlantic hurricane season. Low chance of development for the system that's in front of it. Low chance for the one that's off in the North Atlantic. And let's take a look at that system. As you can see, this would be Storm 2 here, and there's more coming off the coast of Africa right now. You can see that system they're keeping an eye on, that low chance of development way up here in the North Atlantic. And let's take a look at that Saharan air layer that may inhibit this storm. That's certainly going to be the case for that first system, which is running into it just about now, and that is pushing directly into Central America. Let's turn to the El Nino, because this is going to be the topic we're going to talk about for the next 6 months, and it's firing up. It's really going to be very, very strong here. As you can see, these are the water temperatures here. The surface temperatures, subsurface anomalies here, very, very warm all the way back to the date line. That's right. Everything west of the date line is cooler. Everything east of the date line is very, very, very warm. And let's take a look at that. It is running right now just about 0.98 right now on this Roni index here. As you can see, these are the super El Ninos, the very strong ones, 91, 92, 97, 98, and 2015 to 2016. So what does that look like if we were to take a look at the weather for next July through September? And there it is. Warmer temperatures from Texas all the way back up to the East Coast into Virginia. Yes, we had a record warm temperature here for this month of July, but prices were down. So we can't just say warmer temperatures correlate to higher natural gas prices. We got to factor it in. But look, next summer is going to be warm again. And what does that look like on the charts? Well, as you can see right now, we're starting to break this down trend line here. This is July for September, the little strip, the 3-month strip. And as you can see, the RSI is trying to turn to the upside here. So we'll look to see if this can push back up here toward 336 here. And that would be a good move for that particular strip right now because everything has been under pressure, under the expectations that Super El Nino was going to really limit demand this winter. And let's take a look at the stocks in the oil and gas E&P sector. Stocks between $2 and $10 billion have a high short float over 10%, and it's a mixed bag. Behind me, CNX down 0.56%, Matador down 0.77. As you can see, CRK is down as well. The other three are in slight green positions. Let's again turn to the natural gas spot contract here for September, currently trading at 278.5, down 9 ticks. Storage expectations on Thursday plus 36. That is bullish relative to last year, but basically neutral, slightly bearish to the 5-year average of plus 33. So the RSI is going sideways. Again, use the pivot system when it's this choppy here, but we want to see if it stabilizes and pushes out toward the 48-period exponential moving average, which comes in today at 293.3. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.